Holy crap, the windows are here. So the guys have removed the packaging from some of these windows so we can see how they look, and they look great. And these are Marvin windows. Marvin, this is their Essentials line. Marvin is, I was told Marvin's good. So we got Marvin, this is their Essentials line, meaning that these are all made using their Ultrex fiberglass material. Ultrex is like their proprietary name for it, but apparently it's supposed to be a lot more rigid than vinyl, which I believe is the most commonly used material for windows, at least in the US. So a big benefit to that is that these are a lot more resistant to warping, bowing, or sagging in extreme temperatures. It's a lot more resistant to high heat. And that's very common here, especially in the summertime, like right now. It gets really, really hot. And so these are just gonna last a lot longer without any kind of distortion. The other benefit to them being so strong is that they're able to make the frames a lot thinner without compromising on structural integrity. So you get thinner, more modern looking sight lines, you get a lot more glass real estate, and therefore more natural light coming into the house. So overall, aesthetics and build quality, yes, they were more expensive than vinyl, but if I'm gonna be here for a while, I figured I might as well invest in something that's gonna last. There's probably a lot more to say about these, and especially the installation process, which I don't know if we'll be getting to today, but Alvaro's actually on his way. I'm gonna wait till he gets here to fill us in more on that. But speaking of windows, there's another thing that we have to take care of, which is the shades for those windows. And I used to have battery-operated shades the last place at my last house, but I only had 4 of those shades. That it wasn't too bad having to recharge them every 6 months or whatever. But this time around, we're planning to have maybe 8 or 9 roller shades, which is going to be a lot more of a pain to regularly charge those up. So my plan is to go PoE. PoE shades seems like the move. And instead of running 9 separate lines from the rack to each shade, we're just gonna run one line to the attic, and then from there, connect it to a PoE switch, like this one that I just picked up. And then from the attic, from this switch, we'll run Ethernet to each of the shade locations. And in case you're wondering, the switch we're using is from TP-Link. It's got 16 ports. They're all PoE plus switches, and the total power budget is 120 watts, which should be plenty for the 8 or 9 shades that we're going to be installing. I actually am probably not going to do PoE switches or shades for every single window. These like 2 large patio doors. This one, these are each around 16 feet wide. I don't even know if the brand that I'm looking into would support PoE shades for this size. But I'm thinking I'm just going to keep these on batteries anyway, because the Simpson strong wall and the supporting beams cannot be drilled through in any way, shape, or form. These are structural beams. I don't want to mess with them. We could go up and around through that giant block, which they've already done for the main electrical for the house, but I don't know. I don't even think it's worth it. I think I'll just have both of these on batteries, simplify my life a little bit. If I have to charge them every 6 months, it's just 2 shades. I dealt with worse than that in the last house, and it was totally fine. So I think I am going to do PoE shades for pretty much every other window, though. So let's actually count them really quick. 3 for the kitchen. We've got 2 for the entry room. That's 5. 1 for each bedroom. That's 8. I'm probably not going to do the garage. I don't think I need to do the garage. So let's just say 8. We're going to do 8 runs. All right, we're in the attic now, and the first thing I need to do is figure out where exactly we're going to mount or put this switch. We'll probably mount it to the wall or something like that here in the attic, because it's kind of in the middle of the house. I mean, technically, true center would be right between that opening, but I think putting it next to the J-box also makes sense. It really also depends on where we can get power. Obviously, you need to power the switch. It's a PoE switch. This wasn't here last time, this gray box. Let me see. Hey, Mark.
Yep.
Do you know if this gray box here is going to be an outlet, like a 120 outlet?
No, those are going to be your lights.
Okay, switch. Because I'm trying to figure out where to plug this guy in.
Well, I can run an outlet to wherever you want it.
What about this guy?
This is going to be your switch for your lights and your fan.
Oh, okay, that's another switch.
Yeah.
I know Alvaro said that the blue box way down there would be an outlet.
Yeah, that's going to be for...
Like the accent lights for the kitchen.
For the kitchen, let's say if you put LED lights in your cabinet.
Okay.
But if you want me to run one up here, I can.
If it's not too much of an issue, and it doesn't have to be, it could be any time, it could be another day or whatever.
Oh, I'm already running everything, so it doesn't matter.
Okay.
But just let me know where you want it, so you could have I guess access to it.
Right.
Where it's easier for you to get to it as opposed to
Yeah.
hidden or whatever.
What about like kind of just on this wall right here by the J box?
Yeah, that'll work.
Yeah?
Yeah, if you're going to put like some kind of shelving and then you're going to put this on top? Or
Yeah,
you're just gonna,
exactly. I was either
Yeah,
going to
that'll
wall
be
mount it or make a shelf, exactly.
That's fine. Yeah, I'll put it against that wall. You want me to put 2 outlets in there, or you want me to do?
What, like a single gang with 2
You want a
outlets?
single gang, or you want a double gang?
I
So
think
you can have 2 in case you're going to plug in. I don't know what you're going to plug
if
in.
you've got the hardware for it on hand, sure,
Yeah,
why
we have
not? Let's do 2.
Okay, 2 sounds good.
Thanks, Mark.
Yeah, no problem.
And also, let me just double check how long this power cable they included is. Watch it be 3 inches long. Then again, I've been told 3 inches is plenty. Okay, yeah, this is like a standard, this is about 3 feet, roughly. I think that's gonna work then, what Mark suggested. We'll put some outlets right there near the J box. It's probably, what, like 6-7 feet away from it. And then we'll just have the switch live right there. Perfecto. We are out of cat. We have no more cat. We have a little bit more cat, but none of these lines are long enough to make it to any of the remaining windows. I've already done 3 windows. I've run 3 windows so far. That means we have 5 left to go. 3 of them are really easy because they're grouped together in the kitchen, but this is not going to cut it, so I'm going to go get more. Taking a quick break from running Ethernet because the boys are installing the windows.
So what he's doing right now, he's putting, it's like a sealant,
Yeah,
so there's no gaps or air gaps.
gotcha.
And what it does is basically we try to make watertight is what we want.
Right, right.
And then after the fact, since the openings are always a little bit bigger, so that way, you know, if we could wiggle with it.
Right.
Afterwards, you put foam in it, and that's just to make sure, basically, insects don't come in. Oscar, ¿ahí estás?
Dale, súbelo, súbelo, súbelo. Ahí está.
Dale para la derecha, ¿no?
Sú-
Sí, aquí ya está.
no. Ok, sí, pero metámosla bien. Súbete la escalera, súbete.
Está
Para que
bien.
la puches más.
Para que si necesitamos levantarlo un poquito.
No, levantarlo no.
¿No? ¿Está bien?
No, está bien.
Ok.
Le voy a mover cuando está tú, Edgar.
¿Tú hablas español?
What's that?
¿Hablas español?
No,
Nada.
nada. I took it in high school and I forgot everything. Shame, shameful. That's why if I ever go back to Mexico City, I'm bringing Alvaro with me.
His Spanish isn't that good.
Is it not? That's hilarious. And we're both screwed.
Ok, levántala ahora. Ela.
¿Ya? No, es porque requiero abrir esto.
Para levantarlo. Necesita para arriba.
Well, well, well. Look what the cat dragged in.
I was busy.
You were very busy. You've been gone all day.
Yeah.
What you been up to?
All right, so the Edison thing, we tried emailing them. They haven't answered. For those who don't know, Kyle's panel, his 409 panel, the Edison told us where they wanted it. We mocked it up, we set it up. It doesn't meet the 36-inch clearance that is the code. Really uncomfortable with that. Emailed Edison last week about it. Haven't heard back. Got tired of waiting. Luckily, Edison has a field office over here. Went over there, spoke to the Edison representative, showed him the pictures, showed him the measurements, showed him the plans, and he's like, yeah, they clearly missed the retaining wall that was clearly drawn on the plans.
They missed the 60-foot long.
They didn't check
wall?
for they didn't check it on scale.
Right.
They assumed it was at least 3 feet apart, and it wasn't.
Yeah.
So I proposed that we move it over to the other side of the corner. He said that's cool with them, but it's the underground conduit that we have to leave for future Edison.
Okay.
When they eventually go from overhead electrical to buried lines, is that they're going to determine either we have to keep it in the same trajectory that it is now and just add 290s, so it kind of comes around the corner and goes straight, or we need to relocate the line completely, 2-3 feet this way. That's
Okay.
all they're verifying.
But either way, the panel will go. The new location for the panel is right here on the corner.
He agrees it needs to go here, yes.
Okay.
So now we can move the panel over to its nearly final resting place.
And finally finish the home runs.
Well, home runs are already here. It's
Oh,
just
right.
about putting them into the panel.
Yeah, yeah.
Which we have been waiting for Edison's approval.
Yeah.
Like, I knew they were all going to go here, but it was that question if it was going to go here
Which
or go
corner?
here. But
Yeah.
now we know it's all of this is going to go in a panel in the wall that way.
All right, well, since the panel's going on the front of the house, we have to do something fancy with it. We got to, like, paint it like a PC or something.
I mean, we can paint it any way you want, yeah.
Can I get a D-brand skin for it? Like a
You
phone
get a
case?
skin for it, yeah.
All right. I'm doing like a
Just
Godzilla.
there's just like these really bright high voltage stickers that like we can't modify.
All right, we won't outbright the bright stickers.
Perfect. So we'll get that sorted out.
Sweet. Well, now that you're here, Alvaro, you want to kind of give us a rundown of the window installation?
So around the window, we've installed a waterproof membrane flashing that goes around the edge of the window. And when we stucco over it, the stucco paper, we're gonna add another layer to adhere to that. But before we put the window up, we put some sealants around the window to keep air out and water out. These are new construction windows, so they have this cool little flap on it that we can stucco around. And once they go in, it'll be sealed up. And if you come over here to this garage window, you can see how we've used some shims where necessary, just to make sure it's nice and level.
Right.
And then there's a little bit of gaps on the side that they're very minor, that will come back later once everything dries up, and we'll hit it with some expansion foam. That way we can keep the airflow out. Do not remove these stickers, any of
Okay.
these stickers.
Ever?
Well, this one's the most important one. We need this one for an inspection.
Okay.
After we finalize all our inspections, we can put the stickers, then we can take the stickers off.
Fair enough. I also noticed that they have been installing the fire sprinklers. What's it called? The fire mitigation system?
Fire suppression system.
Suppression system. How's that been going?
Almost done. We've already ran them to their final locations. We just have to put, a couple little stub outs and then the caps at the end. Put them under pressure and have the fire department come and inspect them
And that
per the plans.
That inspection needs to happen before we inspect electrical and plumbing and all that, right?
I talked to Inspector Joseph, and he wants that inspection done before he comes out because he doesn't want to step on the toes of the fire department.
That makes sense.
He pretty much said, like, hey, I want them to clear you guys before I come in. That way I don't get any paperwork later saying, like, why did you approve this? The fire department hadn't come in.
Got it.
So he's just, he's being overly cautious maybe a little bit because he can sign off. They're just assuming that we're going to forget to call fire department. So
Right.
he doesn't want to have that.
So as far as the entry door goes, let's talk about that really quick because I've been procrastinating on this way too long, and I finally got a bid from a company that looks decent, and we just need you to sign off on a couple things.
So I have this sizing chart that you sent me with the dimensions that
Yeah.
we can verify right now.
We should be pretty flexible on that, right? Because we still have a completely frameless.
Yeah, we have completely so much space. So for instance,
Yeah.
door frame width 52 inches, and he recommends a half inch. That shouldn't be a problem as long as we have 52 and a half by 96 and a half rough opening and a 4 5/8 door jamb size shouldn't be an issue.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure we have it, but let's go verify.
Yeah. And also, guys, 52 inches sounds like a really wide door because it is. But really the reason being is that this is going to be a pivot door, so it doesn't actually have hinges like most doors do.
It's a single point pivot.
It's a single point pivot, and it's like about 4 inches inward from the door itself, from one edge of the door. So technically the door opening will actually be closer to 4 feet than 52 inches. So 48.
Once the door is actually open,
Yeah.
you'll have about 4 feet
Right.
of actual.
Right.
So imagine this is the door. Here's about the 4 inches. You'll
Yeah.
have 4 feet of clearance
Of
once
opening.
the door is open.
Yeah.
Roughly. 52 inches. Yeah, easy. We have, because we never.
We have like, what,
close this
7,
up.
8 feet?
Right now it's 88 inches.
Okay, yeah, we have
Not a
plenty of
problem.
room. And I decided against the side lights. Those are the windows on either side of the door. I just said, screw it, I want privacy. I don't care how nice it looks.
That's why we left it like this in
Yeah.
case you did do the side lights.
Yeah.
You would have needed, I think we landed on like 12 inches. It would have been each panel or something like that.
Right.
Had you done it.
Right.
So this opening right here is exactly 96 1/4 inches.
Okay.
And he's recommending half an inch.
half an inch less, right?
Yeah, so
Right.
let him know that our exact rough opening right now is 96 and let's just say 96. Let's just say our exact rough opening is 96
Okay.
by 88 by 96. That's the exact opening height. Which,
Okay.
let him know to make the door just a little shorter, but then I can frame out this way. And then did you send him a picture of this?
Not yet, I will.
Okay, here, I'll do that right now. Do me a favor, just stand right there.
Here?
Yeah, right there. And then I will mark it up for him so you can attach it to the email and let him know that these are the true rough opening sizes.
Okay, sweet.
I don't like Milwaukee measuring tapes.
Why?
They just, the Stanley Fat Max is the only appropriate tape measure anyone should have. Electricians and plumbers use Milwaukee tape measures because accuracy doesn't mean anything to them. But everyone knows the true blue measuring is always done with a Stanley Fat Max.
With a Stanley. His last question was timeline, when we want the door by.
Sooner the better at this point.
I think their lead time is like 6 weeks.
That's perfect.
All right. Okay, entry door handled. Pun intended. So these are the last 3 runs for our PoE shades. I'm gonna run these in just a minute. These are going to the kitchen windows. Whoop, gimbal. Calm down, gimbal. All right, the kitchen windows. The ones on the sides, pretty easy. But it's the one in the middle that I'm kind of scratching my head with because obviously you can't run, I don't know if we can run a cable straight across. I don't know if we'll have room once the actual shades are all in. And you can't drill a hole over there because that's a structural beam. You can't mess with that. We could go through the bottom, but then that's weird, running up the cable along the side of the window frame. I don't really see a good path forward here. Worst case scenario, battery operated in the middle, PoE on the sides.
I would ask the manufacturers just one more time their input on this 3-window situation.
Yeah, I have to take a photo of it and send it to them. They'll let me know where to run it.
I rather they tell us the answer versus us speculate.
Yeah. Want to help me finish these runs?
Yeah.
I know you do. Look real quick. They're all going to the same place. Easy peasy.
This is the last one, right?
I promise this is the last Ethernet for now.
No.
Yeah.
Don't say I promise this is the last one and then tomorrow be like, so my viewers were thinking. I'm gonna start charging by the foot on the next one.
All right, we got some fiberglass on us from being in the attic, so only one thing to do. PoE runs for the shades are done. Yeah, baby, we knocked that out pretty good. Actually, as soon as Alvaro showed up, he pretty much took over everything, and I stood there and filmed him. It was very helpful. But yeah, those are all done. Knocked those out in a day. The guys have installed nearly all the windows. There's just one window remaining. It's the big one. They said the big boy for tomorrow. If I'm here tomorrow, I don't know if I'll be here yet, but either way, I'll try to grab a clip of them installing it, and I'll put that right here so you can see for yourself that they did not drop it. And that's a very important thing to not happen. And it looks great. All the windows are great. The guys did a fantastic job getting all these in. And we are just waiting for inspections now. Inspections for the fire sprinkler system, for electrical, plumbing, mechanical. And then once we do all that, once we clear all that, it's just, we're ready for drywall, which is just, it's insane. It's totally insane how fast this is moving now. I also got to plug the charity stream I'm doing with Paul's Hardware on August 22nd. That's this Saturday. We're going to start in the morning Pacific time, probably maybe 9, 10 a.m. And we're going to be raising money for the Children's Hospital of Los Angeles, playing games, lots of giveaway prizes, free PCs, who knows what else. It's going to be a good time. So hopefully you guys can join us. It's going to be really fun. And yeah, that's it. Stay tuned for more updates coming soon. I'll see you guys next time.